Patrick Saunders. Lead us off.
Good morning, buddy.
Good morning, Patrick.
How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Great.
We touched on this a little bit. Jairo Diaz last year was not the Jairo Diaz we'd seen in the past. And as I mentioned, we discussed this a little bit, but what went haywire, if that's the right word, last year with him, and what does he have to do to really become an essential part of the back end of the bullpen?
Yeah, well, I think, first of all, Jairo was playing catch-up the entire 60-game season, it seemed to me, in a number of areas. First of all, I think the physical standpoint, he contracted the virus in summer camp, so he got a late start up in Denver when we resumed, and we're getting our players ready. If you recall, he only had like one or two outings to get ready for the start of that season. So I think physically he was a little bit behind. And I think with that, his mechanics suffered. I think he was trying to create velocity, trying to overthrow the ball, when probably he wasn't in the game shape that he needed to be in. So with that, again, I think that affected his stuff, affected his overall velocity, and I think his mechanics, got out of whack. So what we're doing now and what we did prior to spring training with Jairo was, first of all, solidify his mechanics to make sure that everything is in order, and make sure that from the physical standpoint, his conditioning, his throwing programs, his side sessions are building him up to pitch in games and to pitch to the level that he's accustomed to.
Excellent. Thank you, buddy.
Hi, Graham, go ahead.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm well. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, I'm gonna put you on the spot just a tad bit here. I just curious, where does Charlie Blackmon rank as far as his hitting prep and being a student in the game and players you've been around?
I think right there up the top with all the guys that I consider, great preparers to play. Charlie is right there at the top of the list of guys who are both mentally and physically ready to play. He's got a tremendous routine. It's his routine, and he's a guy that doesn't waver from his program, and it's really impressive to watch. He takes time. He's diligent. It's really awesome to observe. He's up there with, the guys that come to the top of my head: David Eckstein, Darren Erstad. Those two guys were incredibly diligent about their work ethic prior to a ball game. So Charlie's right there amongst them.
And my follow-up would be, Major League Baseball is going to let players look at on the iPad, look at their swings. I guess how much of an advantage will that be, again, to have players being able to look at like real-time swings?
Well, for a lot of guys, it's very beneficial. Guys who are students of the game, students of their swing, and can handle that in game and not let it distract from what's going on in real time in competition. I know it's an aid for Charlie. I know Charlie's able to, put things in perspective, in a moment's notice when he's looking at video, and then go back out and play. So I think we've heard from other players around the league that they thought it hurt their performance last year not being able to have in-game video. Now the video is going to be a little bit delayed. It won't be real current, up to speed video where you can see it moments after an at-bat. I think there's a little bit of a delay, I think an inning or so, that you can go back and look at a previous at-bat. For instance, you can't watch if you make the first out of an inning, you can't immediately go back down into the tunnel to the video room and watch your at-bat. That's not going to happen. There's a little bit of a delay when your at-bat will show up. So, but nevertheless, I think it will be useful for a lot of guys.
Thomas Hardy?
Hey, buddy, we were doing Zoom calls during the game and maybe missed some things, but some of the younger guys that came in, I think that maybe Hannah had a catch in center field. What were some of the things you saw yesterday, first impressions that grabbed you of some of the younger guys you ended up putting in that game?
Yeah, Hannah made a nice athletic play in right field in Deal's inning against Varsho, the catcher who DH'd yesterday, made a nice sliding catch in right field on a sinking line drive. I thought Ryan Valade and Colton Welker had good swings. They squared up a couple balls with authority. I thought, let me see. I thought Connor Joe had a couple good at bats. Ran counts to full, both at bats, drew a walk. And had some good swings on another at bat, fouled some pitches off, and eventually struck out on a 3-2 changeup. But I thought Connor had a couple good at bats as well. So those things sort of stood out a little bit for me. Those four guys. Trejo, I thought Trejo had a good swing, hit a double down the line, good at bat. Made a nice turn on a double play, quick turn. The runner was safe at first, but got rid of the ball quick with good arm strength. Trejo looked good yesterday, I thought, and just his 3 innings out there. So those things sort of stood out for us.
With Hannah, because he's new to this organization, what have you seen in this camp out of him, and how close is he? We always want to ask that question.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think he still needs some seasoning to polish some things up. But there's some life to the body. It's a live body. There's some strength to it. I think that will continue to get it will get better too. I think he's got some room to gain some strength and put on some weight and have that impact the ball a little bit. But it looks to be an athletic player. He's energetic. He's got a good work ethic. He's got some power on the pull side. He's got to be able to move the ball around the field offensively. But there's some talent in there for sure.
And we'll see him today, but I was talking to Doug Linton yesterday, and he thought that Helcris Olivares was maybe your top pitching prospect at this point. What have you seen out of him? He's young, but I keep hearing great things about him.
Yeah, I agree with Doug. We saw him last summer camp in Denver on the alternate site, but it's a big league arm. It really is. He's got good stuff. Velocity's there. It looks like he's going to be able to spin the breaking ball. He's got a good feel for a changeup. He's physical. That's only going to increase. He's only 19, 20 years old, so he's going to get bigger and stronger and fill out. But the arm works nice. He probably has our highest upside of any of our young pitchers in the minor leagues. So it's really great to have him here in big league camp, gaining experience and rubbing shoulders with Marquez and Freeland and Sensatella, Oberg, Bard. That's going to be great for him. It's going to be a great experience for him. So I'm really looking forward to watching him this year in the minor leagues to see if we get that development. But if he can, he can clean some things up with his delivery, be more consistent in the strike zone with his stuff. I mean, he could potentially move fast, but we got a guy that looks to be a major league prospect and a high end guy in our midst.
Thank you, buddy.
Go to Noah Yingling from Rocks Pile with the last questions, unless anyone else wants to hop in. Noah, go ahead.
Hey, bud. Thanks as always for the time. Yesterday, Philip Deal happened to get the win for you guys in the first game. What did you happen to see out of him, and what do you think he will have to do this spring training to make the bullpen as possibly the only lefty in the bullpen?
Well, the thing I liked about Philip yesterday, he pounded the strike zone and attacked in the strike zone with his pitches. had a couple hard contacts against him, but nevertheless, we had guys in the right spot. Hannah made a nice catch on that sinking line drive, and the first hitter hit a line drive to Stamets, right in his, right where Stamets was playing, and he got a fly ball to center. But I like the intent that Phillip threw a lot of strikes. He whipped out, I thought, a couple good sliders that had a nice sharp break to it. So I think with Phillip, we're going to have to see with the critical eye, the pitch making, whether he is, hitting his spots, whether the breaking ball has nice sharpness to it and big league quality. But he's shown that in certain flashes over 2 years with us. But I think with him, he has to really, fine tune his location with the fastball, get it in good spots, and really get that slider to the point where it's really effective versus left-handed hitters. And if the righty comes up, he's got to be able to get it up. He's got to get it underneath their swing, down and into him.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, buddy.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, buddy.